I'm Dr. Lissa Rankin, and I want to talk to you about how spiritual bypassing can impact our relationships. Now, if you're not familiar with the term spiritual bypassing, it was coined by um, Buddhist psychologist John Welwood, who noticed that there were people in spiritual communities who were using their spirituality, their spiritual thoughts, beliefs, and practices to avoid relational conflict, to avoid touching into their traumatic histories, and to basically use conflict avoidance and holy drag in their relationships. In other words, we're using our spirituality and our spiritual beliefs to justify tolerating abuse, not holding ourselves or someone else to account, um, making excuses for behaviors that really require a strong expression of displeasure or a forceful no or a clear setting of boundaries. And we're spiritualizing this, trauma related behavior in a way that often is actually inflating. We may think we are superior to people who, for example, polarize or are divisive or are confrontational, not realizing that it's actually healthy to protest when someone is mistreating us. It's actually healthy to, take the talking stick and say, that's not okay with me. I'm a no to that I'm not willing to continue tolerating that behavior. But if we are spiritualizing it, what does that look like? Well, it might look like something like, well, this person is my twin flame, and it's part of my path to enlightenment to allow this person to continue to activate me so that I can do all of my shadow work, so that I can, whatever, earn a better reincarnation, grow as a soul, get to heaven, whatever it is that we might think in this sort of spiritually ambitious way. Or this person is part of my soul family, and we agreed before birth that, this person would traumatize me, and I consented to it because it's part of my karma as a way to learn from past misdeeds, how to have empathy for being on the other side of that traumatic equation or something like that. It might look like I'm so unconditionally loving that I can tolerate even the most intolerable, insufferable human being on the planet. And that means I deserve a PhD in unconditional love. And this person is growing my capacity for love. And I am increasing my capacity and my tolerance. Or maybe it looks like a spiritualized glorification of martyrdom. I'm actually so selfless. I'm so expanded. I'm Jesus on the cross. I am sacrificing myself in the name of love. And this makes me a superior spiritual being for doing so, or something like that. And unfortunately, as much as that might make us feel good, it makes us feel like we're growing, we're making meaning out of our difficult relationships, we're avoiding difficult conflicts. It doesn't necessarily help us create more intimate relationships that are safer, that are healthier, that are protective of self and other, and that allow us to come together in a non-enmeshed, non-codependent, non-narcissistic way in order to actually grow as a relationship. Um, so I so appreciate and have compassion for spiritual bypassing parts, or in the internal family systems world, we call them self-like parts, parts that sort of mimic self, and they have a lot of compassion. They can be very calming, very quiet, very equanimous. They can be very tolerant. They can be very selfless, and they can come across as very spiritual. But they often have an agenda, and the agenda is don't rock the boat. Don't upset somebody. Don't make them leave. Don't set boundaries. Don't say no. Don't do anything that could destabilize the status quo of the relationship, even if the relationship is dysfunctional. So, what do we do instead? Well, first of all, we have to understand when our spiritual bypassing parts are coming forward. So just start noticing if somebody is doing something and you are telling yourself a story that's spiritualizing the behavior instead of setting a boundary or saying no or protesting the behavior or standing up for yourself. Just notice it and get to know those parts with compassion, with sensitivity for the delicacy of these parts, and with appreciation for the survival strategies that they have learned. If you want to go deeper into this, we do a lot of spiritual bypassing recovery work in Love School, which is a relational skill building, trauma healing, internal family systems friendly community. And you can find it at lissarankin.com. I'll also be writing a lot more about this in my upcoming book, Relation Sick, which will be out May 2026. So if this is provocative or bringing things up for you, feel free to tell me what comes up for you. A lot of times we have parts that are really resistant to hearing about spiritual bypassing tendencies, so that's welcome as well. I'd love to hear from you, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel or pass this on to anybody else that you think it might be helpful to hear. Thank you.